Kia ora, I'm Rob Thomas and I'm the Volunteer Coordinator for Pest Free Kaipatiki. We are currently undertaking candidate interviews for the 2019 Local Government Elections. What is your name?
My name's Andrew Shaw.
Andrew, great to meet you.
Andrew.
And now you're no relation to James, sure, are you?
No.
Okay. So, what position are you standing for?
Local board, so Kaipatiki Local Board.
Fantastic.
Yeah. First time.
First time. And do you currently have a rat trap or a bait station on your property?
I do have a bait station, yes.
Great.
From this organisation, which is, I recently got a new pulse for
You're involved with the Pulse?
Yeah.
Fantastic, that's great. And have you downloaded the EcoTrack app?
I do have it on the phone. I thought about downloading, there was a loquat tree for sale in Botany Plant Barn or something, and I'm pretty sure that's a noxious pest. It was $50 or $60.
Surprising how many pest plants there are.
So I was going to put the GPS dot on that and see that. But I don't know if I can get it to work the whole time. That's the thing.
Okay.
That's the only thing. I've got it, but I'm not sure if I'm actually
just let us know if you've got any issues.
Using it correctly.
What do you like and dislike about the current state of Kaipatiki's natural environment?
What do I like and dislike? Well, that's a slightly different question from what you've put basically what's most noticeable is the amount of weeds I find around the place. And when I some parks and reserves more than others. Some are really nice, but yeah, be the weeds.
Okay. And anything you like in particular about Kaipatiki?
Anything I like in particular?
Yeah, in the natural environment.
Well, there's quite a bit of it. Natural environment. I do like the bush. I do like, I suppose the most parts I'm most familiar with are the coastal track on Shepherd's Park and planting that got done at Shepherd's Park and that bush there. I've spent some time in the other parks around the area, but the fact that it's, we've got coastal borders and all the parks and reserves and beach that means, and then and then the motorway is the other boundary. So it's a great place.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest environmental concern for Kaipatiki, and what actions would you take to resolve it?
I'm going to have to
refer to your notes.
I have thought of these before.
Go for it.
Okay. Well, I haven't actually answered that one on my pre-prepared answers. Well, the biggest concern, probably the weeds. I mean, I'm not quite sure what we're doing with our waterways and with the place is going to get denser. So I'm concerned about what's actually happening there. I don't have a big understanding, but I am concerned if we get more dense, then that's going to put more pressure on the stormwater and all the rest of it. So.
As you know, Kaipatiki is very fortunate to have 32% tree canopy cover, and however, every day we hear these chainsaws going on in the background, chopping down trees on private land. What is it that you would do to maintain or grow the Kaipatiki urban canopy forest?
I mean, it's a tricky one. We want to get denser in the same amount of land that we've got now. So certainly preserving what we have. It's a tricky one. When you look at Northcote, I mean, there's in all the architectural drawings, and there's more trees and planting, and the wetland, mitigating wetland stuff for the runoff and all that in there. Whether that keeps it at 32%, or it drops, I don't know. I've got plenty of trees on my property.
Yeah, that's always a good place to start, isn't it?
There was 2 when I got there, and there's probably about 42 now. So
And have you been involved in many environmental projects in Kaipatiki? And is there anything you've been particularly passionate about?
Well, I was involved again vicariously, mainly through my father. He was more involved than me at Shepherd's Park, so he did a lot of the initial replanting and trying to keep reforesting, so regenerating native forests. So and I would get along to that, not as often as he would like me to, but I'd get down there. it's something he got stuck into when he was retired.
Great. So you're quite connected with that part of the bush.
Yeah. That part. I mean, I've been down there planting stuff since he passed. You know, it's just as a memorial to him and stuff like that. Yeah.
Pest Free Kaipatiki is a community-led initiative to make Pest Free Kaipatiki make it pest free by 2026. That's the vision.
Yeah.
And this will require obviously quite a significant amount of coordination and resources to remove those pest plants and predators, and prevent the further spread of things like carry dieback. If you were elected this term onto the local board, what are the top 3 sort of tangible actions that you'd like to do to help support those volunteer groups, 30 plus in our reserves, schools and our local street coordinators?
I think what you've got already established is probably working, and I wouldn't, just leave it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So, but then I don't know a lot of what's going on too. I mean, just a little. I went down to the Kaipatiki project in Lauderdale, right? Thinking I was coming here. So I'm not really up to speed with everything that you guys are doing and the extent of your involvement in the community and what you're doing. So I'd have to learn more when I get elected. Yeah.
Great. Now, both community volunteers and council contractors that sort of undertake eco restoration works and reserves. And what are your current thoughts on how they sort of are coordinating that delivery? If you have any, because obviously you're quite new to it, but would you look to change anything in the future?
Again, I need to know more information as to and be guided in what's working. I know my dad loved doing what he was doing, and but at the same time, I can see parts of that park I'm most familiar with, and the coastal track, quite degraded with track condition and the amount of weeds and lack of planting in some areas, and then some clearing off it in some in other areas. So I'm not sure what's going on or who's responsible or who's doing what in that regard. So we've got a lot of parks around the neighbourhood, and they're not all on a pass and all way intact, I'll say, and others are a little compromised. So I need more. I need more information.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Now we're on to our last 3 questions, and the 2 of them are quite meaty. So I appreciate any perspective you might be able to provide. So Auckland Council recently adopted the Draft Regional Pest Management Plan, and however many of the residents in Kaipatiki believe it doesn't have enough sort of teeth in terms of enforcement of pest plant removal on private property, and also that they're also quite familiar that a lot of our pest plants can have seeds that can travel well beyond the 500 metre buffer zone around those sensitive ecological reserves. So do you agree or disagree that there's sufficient enforcement rules on private land? Do you agree with the 500 metre buffer zone, and what would you do, if anything, to address those issues?
I mean, I did have a quick read of the plan, and my understanding, and it was that there was enough that if it's a pest, then it could be removed regardless of who occupies the land. If it's is that the right interpretation? Is that?
Well, the argument is that there's not enough enforcement.
There's not enough enforcement
on it.
I know I'd need to look further into what's written down and what's planned.
Have you got any experiences yourself with neighbours? Or?
Well, I was across the road a day or 2 ago, and yes, they have a moth plant currently, nice big buds on it.
They have the most seeds too.
Yeah.
Phenomenal number of seeds.
And they easily cover that 500 yards. At work, I've certainly done my bit around that neighbourhood, in terms of spotting them. Besides the loquat tree, it was a moth plant I tried to pin on the eco track thing. And that's just on the corner of Lancaster and Beach Haven Road.
Great. Well, identification's a really good start. Now, carry trees.
Well, that's the education is what people need. So I'm sure my neighbour, if he knew, he'd do something about it. Maybe he doesn't realise, the risk he's playing.
Now, carry trees are obviously, beloved within Kaipatiki, but as you'll be aware, carry dieback's obviously made an inroad here in Kaipatiki. Some people assert that that the only way to protect carry trees is to keep people and animals sort of away from kauri trees. What's your opinion on this, and what would you do to help protect kauri further?
Again, I'd take the best advice that's being generated currently. I mean, you know, there's lots of people looking at it and thinking around this area. So, yeah. I mean, 20 years ago, there was one kauri tree, and we'll call it an original, but a little baby one at Shepherd's Park. And even back then, they put a ring of rounds around it, the diameter of maybe 5 meters, just to keep people off its root ball. So we knew stuff back then, and we're learning more stuff, but it's got more challenging with the dieback.
Yeah.
So we've got to learn what works and apply it. You know, if it means shutting stuff away, then that's already happening. It'd be a shame not to be able to ever get in amongst them again. So yeah, whatever technology or science comes up with, innovation on how we might do it and get around them and be amongst them.
And are there any other environmental projects as part of your manifesto that you'd like to tell us about?
No. I am interested in obviously pest free, everywhere. But I quite like the idea of a land island here in Kaipatiki, and it's that bit of bush over there which we looked at out the window. I think it would be a great thing to have. Occasionally, if you look across from Herne Bay, you see a three-master ship, maybe the Spirit of New Zealand, anchored in I was going to say Campbell's Bay, but what's the bay off around
Northcote or
Northcote, yeah. I don't know, but it's Campbell's Bay, I think. It's probably. And it looks stunning, but it would also be stunning if that was a land island and it was full of birds that would, fly across the harbour to be there and come and go from there.
So tell me more about the land island. Is it something you see for Kaipatiki?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm familiar by having visited the one in Wellington, Karori, and the morning chorus there is loud, and it's kind of like how it was before Pākehā got here. And if we could have, a predator-free fence, and we've got a water boundary on that end of Kaipatiki, then that might be a great thing for our area, but for the whole of Auckland.
Great.
I'd love to canoe on down past there. It's lovely enough canoeing on up our waterways up the Waitemata, past the bush that's already existing there. It's lovely.
Well, thank you so much, Andrew, for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it. And we wish you all the very best for your election campaign.
Thank you.
Thank you.